This is Zichru Daf Simanim Gemara and Zevachim Daf Vav. And Vav is a long, straight letter like a sword. So Daf Vav is going to be a sword shop over here. And of course, we're in the Zevachim world, so therefore our sword shop is going to all be about karbanos. So we have a person, a sword enthusiast, who forgot, he's thinking how he forgot to lay tefillin, and he wants to know, why did he forget? Because he was busy sharpening his sword. He wants to know the oila that he already designated. He has an oila over here already designated. So this guy wants to know, wait, the avera that I did after I already designated my oila, will that oila be mechaber for that avera? And a friend came in to talk to him and tell him he didn't do smicha, therefore the carbon cannot be mechaber on it. And finally, a third sword salesman walks in selling his swords, and he says that he has a discount, but he has a question you have to answer for the discount. The second soyer of Atzeres, what is it mechaber for? So our 3 points in Daf Vav of Zevachim. Again, Vav is a sword. Zevachim, it's going to be all about karbanos. So Daf Vav, we have someone sharpening his sword, wondering, he already separated an oila. Does an avera that he did today, will that be included in the oila? A friend telling him about the fact he didn't do smicha, and the carbon cannot be a mechaper. And a salesman who sells swords walking in and offering a discount if he can explain what the second sayer of Atzeres is mechaper for. So we go a little bit deeper. Point number 1 is an oila be mechaper for an assay that was after the afrosh, after oilam was separated? Ask the Gemara, assay delachar afrosh mechaper, is the oila mechaper for an aveir that was done after the carbon was designated oilai mechaper? Does an oila work like a chatas? That just like a chatas cannot bring a kapara for something that was done after the afrasha, so to the oila is going to be the same thing? Or is an oila different from a chatas? Because a chatas is what? A kol chet v'chet b'yilasui chad chatas. Each avera needs its own carbon. Whereas by an oila, that's not true. You can have many assays on one oila, and that is the kasha of the Gemara. Continues the Gemara, and the Gemara wants to bring a raya, which this is the friend talking to the sword salesman. We're on the Avav, he's sharpening his sword, and his friend answers him, a carbon does not atone if you did not perform semicha. Says the pasuk, vineyard sets acceptable, talking about semicha before shchita. Kapara is with the blood, the dam of the carbon. So explains the Braisa, what does the pasuk teach us? That if you did semicha, Shem asal smicha sheyari mitzvah. If you made smicha into sheyari mitzvah, meaning you made it not important, it's like shirayim. You didn't do the smicha. Says the pasuk, you're not going to get a kapara. So what does that mean? It means that although the carbon is going to give you a kapara for the asay that you did before you designated the carbon, but the avera of the smicha, the fact that on this carbon you didn't do the appropriate action, you didn't do the asay of smicha, it will not work. Why? Because it was after the afrasha. That's going to be the raya of the Gemara. Rava says the case of smicha is not a good case because until you actually shechted the carbon, you can perform the smicha at any moment. Therefore, it's not considered an avera until you did the actual shchita, and we never had a shaila if it could be kapara after the shchita. So you can't bring a raya to our shaila, the shaila that the sword salesman who forgot to lay tefillin wanted to know if his avera could be the asay, if it could be included in the oila that he ready was mafresh. And point number 3 is the sword walks in a sale from the sword salesman. He wants to know. But from the second seir of Atzeres, Gemara wants to bring a proof from the Braisa. Rav Shimon says, Siari Atzeres, the 2 goats born on Shavuos, together with the Shtei Alechem, they are mechaper of a Tumas Mikdash Vikadashav. But after the first seir already gave the kapara, why do you need the second seir? Says the Gemara, it's for an avera that was done between the first and the second. So what do we see? We see that after the carbon was already separated, you still could get a kapara. Says the Gemara that the second seir is going to be mechaper for that which is between the afrasha of the first and the second, that they were designated at different times. But says the Gemara, no, can't be that the entire carbon is for such a unique case, but rather, you know what the din must be, leiv bezdin masna aleim. Therefore, we can't bring a raya from here that bezdin made a tanai, made a stipulation on this carbon, and therefore Can't bring a raya. The Zichru notes over here so beautifully end off that Taisa says that we have to accept the explanation that the carbon's purpose, so where they are designated at different times, and we have no other way of learning the case of the two Sirim on Atzeres. So Davav, we have a sword, straight Davav like a sword. Point number one, he forgot to do the Asay of Tefillin. Will his Ayla that he already separated, will it be Machaber? He tried to bring a Raya, his friend says, I didn't do Smicha, I was over an Asay, and the carbon cannot bring a Kapara. The Gemara refutes that Raya. And finally, can you tell me what the second Seir of Atzeres is Machaber for? Gemara in Zvachim, Davav, the sword salesman, sharpening his sword. Davav in Zvachim.